There's questions that there are still issues, for instance, for Tesla of getting to unsupervised. There are still questions of taking the rider or the what I call the safety rider out of the car. There are issues of how fast to expand. There are issues of whether we need to do all this prep work in the next city or not. These are all issues that used to be something that humans were answering. But all of a sudden, I have a feeling agents are going to be answering those questions.
Well, certainly it's going to be viewed as the ultimate tool. I mean, in other words, everybody that works in some enterprise knows that there's a huge tool chain. If you're on the mechanical side, you have these CAD systems. If you have planning systems, ERP, blah 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 blah, and a lot of it is in fact asking questions of a system and getting an answer. And so we're going to see that explode and be part of. I'm very optimistic about it. I feel that it's not. It clearly will replace a number of jobs, but will certainly power up economies too, because you should be able to. What I was thinking is that you've got this sort of single truth system, single resource. So now instead of thinking about it like, I mean, basically people call this, artificial general intelligence, but without all the fancy terms and definitions, if you think about your tool chain that you're using in some enterprise, certainly there's some horizontal ones, things like email and if you're fortunate, Microsoft Office products, but then there's some very vertical ones based on the discipline that you have. But what's cool about something like this is it's horizontal by its very nature, but can go very vertically deep in any given place. That's kind of something that's different. That's something that's really different. And so it allows somebody that's not a finance person to run some numbers on, for example, I want to move the charging port from this side of the car to that side of the car or something like that. And you can use a tool like that to not only help you on the mechanical design side, but now you can run numbers through the same darn tool. You can say, well, okay, my wiring harness has to change this way and that, so forth. And you can start asking the tool to help you look at, for example, you could say, what are the 20 parts involved in our in the charge port assembly today, or what parts are involved in the charge port assembly? Okay, there are these parts. Okay, what suppliers do we use for those? Okay, it's these suppliers. Okay, who's our favorite suppliers in that bunch? Who of those suppliers have come through it every time, given us good pricing, or failed us and become the very part that is missing in the assembly. And you can do that as an engineer.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the
purchasing
purchasing department or through. So what I think is the innovation here that people aren't talking much about is how cross-discipline the tool is, and therefore allows very smart people to be able to use the tool in a multidisciplinary way. I know as somebody that, I can imagine my time when I was at Rivian, all the things I could do with a tool that allowed me to get access to our supply chain and our finance side and every part, and you can also do things like with a tool like that is, find me the resource within this company that knows the most about, right? Suddenly, a tool like that can record, all its interactions with people and understand their workflows. Now that you have all their workflows in the tool, one of the hardest things, people know this when they work in a large enterprise, that it's very, very difficult to find the person who knows the most about something. I mean, you can kind of go down that org chart, but at the end of the day, you're kind of, you're just going approximating, if it's a completely different organization. Oh, it's run through this VP. And knowing that, I can guide it. Okay, how is that organized, and how, and you could probably just say to the tool, like, who's the one dude who knows the most about the charge port software spec that we have to comply with to, oh, it's John, and he's in the, so it's, he works over here. Or he just moved jobs, but he's still that guy.
Yeah, he's still the guy. That's right.
Yeah. So it becomes, Randy, it becomes not just something that is this incredibly vertical tool that's horizontal, but now it becomes this incredible knowledge base across the organization.
Right.
And I think that's the part that has to get built, meaning like the tool itself generically doesn't have that kind of memory or data training set. So, we'll have to come up with these elements that you can feed information back into it, and it becomes sort of in sort of mixture of experts terminology, the expert in this part of the business of this enterprise that is now in the tool itself.